that clump of grass, look, completely dead. Look at that. So it's not even alive, is it? So it's not going to come back. Good morning everyone, welcome to a lovely wet part of Gloucestershire. We have gone crazy here with rain. So we went from the driest summer I've ever known to probably the wettest so far September I've ever known. A friend of mine sent me a screenshot of some website, and I think in the first 12 days of September we had a quarter of the rain or thereabouts of the rain that we had for the previous 9 months or the rest of the year, and it's just come relentless here for the last probably 10 days on and off. Look, I can just show you here. This is, I mean, obviously this is runoff off the track, but the fields themselves are pretty wet. I mean, look at the clouds in the sky. It's like Armageddon. We're doomed. We're doomed. So I'm gone from sort of one headache to another, really, to be honest. You know how dry it was. I mean, horrendous lack of grass and everything. And now I've gone to this situation where it's so wet, it's causing me other issues. I'm going to turn you around in a minute onto. You can see the water there. This is where the ring feeders were. Do you remember I was feeding cows outside here? There's one ring feeder there, one ring feeder there, and one there. Here's a clip of them eating away. So that was only about 10 days ago. It was so dry we were feeding out here, and we had so the cows started getting wet, and the cows started coming in quite muddy on the teats, and our back to scan, which is we were cleaning the teats before milking, but the back to scan, which is the level of dirt, really an indicator of cleanliness, went up quite a bit, which caused us issues with our milk supply. No, they didn't contact us or anything, but we knew that if we carry on like that, we're going to get into a penalty on the milk. So you get paid according to your quality of milk, and we knew that this was slipping back, which isn't good. So what we've had to do, we've had to yank the feeders out of there. They're back there. We'll have a look at that later. I'm still feeding. I've cut back the bales because look, the grass has actually come back. Look how green it looks now compared with the summer. The grass has come back. I'll talk about that further in a minute. But the grass has come back, but it's slow going. We're getting into September, October. We're losing the temperature and the light, which makes grass grow. So the grass is growing back, but a bit slower than I'd like. So I've cut back from 3 bales to 2. I'm giving them 2 bales of silage a day, and I'm strip grazing again now with a kind of quite a big amount. But I have a dilemma now. I'm worried, a couple of worries. Firstly, if this rain keeps up, I'm not sure how we're going to go with the cows being out till November, but also I'm still not convinced I've got enough grass to see me through to November. It is coming back, there's no doubt about it, but it's got to come back. It was so damaged by the rain, the sun, so damaged that a lot of places the grass is still dead. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So I'm now in a sort of worry situation. I've actually started feeding more silage. I thought I'd quit by now. I thought I would be off the silage. But now what's happening is I'm still feeding. What I'm worried about is I'm going into the pile I've reserved for winter. We've got our maize coming off this week. That will tell us really, that'll be a big tell when we look in the clamp, see how much silage there's in there. Not much, I think. So So it's turning into a very tricky autumn. We've gone from a tricky summer to a tricky autumn. Honestly, I can say this is the hardest summer hardest year I've dealt with on the farm. It's a big financial hit. We're still buying in silage now. The price has gone up. It's hard to find now. God knows what we're going to do in spring if we have a late spring. So there's a lot of farmers in my boat now around Gloucestershire and probably Devon and Dorset and places like that. We're all kind of like, oh, I didn't put the Land Rover keys in my back pocket. I try and, excuse me. Right, got it. There you go. Yeah, we're in the kind of situation where we still don't really know where we're going for winter. I think there's a few people hoping to get another cut late in the season, which with all this rain, if they got new lays, it will come back. But for people like me, I'm not going to get another cut of silage off this. I haven't got that many new lays, and the lays I've got are sort of permanent pasture, they're not so productive. We're going to have a look at the grass. What I'm going to do is I've got to move a fence. We'll have a look at that where the cows are grazing now. But then I'm going to go and show you, because what we've got, because some of the grass has been destroyed so badly, I've decided we're going to direct drill some, I think that's the right word, direct drill some grass into the pasture, and it needs 2 fields, because the grass, I think it's been so severely hit by the drought that it's just not going to come back, and I'm not going to risk waiting until next spring to see whether that actually happens. So there's another financial cost. I've got a big stack of grass seed back at the farm. Also, oh by the way, I'm also putting one of the maize fields back down to grass for a year. People have been moaning at me about the fact that I'm doing continuous maize, and I have done for about 13 years in the field. So what I've decided to do, we're gonna put one out into grass. We're gonna do maize in one field, so we'll have a bit of maize for the winter, next winter. The other smaller of the 2 fields, we're gonna actually we're gonna grass that. That'll give us, if we plant it this September, that'll give us all of 2026 as grass. Then I think we'll probably put it back into maize in spring 27, but I can get, if I'm really lucky, I could probably get a cut of grass off it in about end of April 27 as well. So effectively you've got 18 months of grass. Did think about whole crop, but that's only one season. I wouldn't get anything in April, and I'm comfortable with grass. Some people will be shouting at me I should have done something else, but that's the plan. And then depending on how that works out, I'm going to flip the other field then and do the same with the other field. So we'll have a couple of years where we've only got one field of grass, but we'll have extra silage, so we might end up putting that out in wing feeders for the cows along with a bit of maize. I can sort of get away with things like that because we're a low input, low output farm. You know, we're not pushing cows on high yield, so I think we'll be able to manage that. So yeah, so that's the plan with the maize. I mean, so this is where the grass is growing back now, and it is actually really green and lush. But if we come down here, I walked this field the other day. Let me just see if I can find. This field's not bad actually. It's come back better than some of the other ones. But there was down here. There was a load of mushrooms, but they're in my belly now because I had those for. For breakfast. But you've got areas like this, look, that are still not recovered. Look, you can see they start showing up in this lower section here. Look, there's patches here that haven't come back. Can you see that? Yes, it's worse down here for some reason. I don't know why. Look at this, look. So what you've got is you've got a covering of grass from a distance. When you get up close, there's actually a fair amount of dead grass there that isn't good. So you're reducing the amount of grazing for the cows, which is annoying. And this field's not as affected as some of the other ones. So I'm gonna put this camera down a minute, and what we're gonna do is I'll just move this fence a minute. It's flipping 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday, if you're wondering what time it is. I'm going to move this fence. I won't video that, I'll just turn the camera off and get on with it. Get on with it! Sometimes it's easier just to do the job and not film everything. Right, I'm gonna move this fence. Then what we'll do is we'll just drive along and I'll show you the severely affected field, which is definitely going to need a reseed, because it is bloody knackered. Right, I'll see you in a minute, alright? See you in a minute. Oh, back inside the Land Rover again. Let me just shut the door. Just in the middle of the field there, and it started raining again, look. Lovely. So, sunrise is coming up behind that tree, look. It's just slap in the middle of where the sun is. Woo! Tickle the belly of the sun if you could, it's just there. So, I left my flipping coat back at the farm. That's so annoying. Flipping it, I thought I'd just stand it out in the field. I thought I'd just stand there for like a minute or two and just wait for it to pass, but it will pass in a minute because there's not that many clouds behind. But this is, I tell you what, this season is more like, it's more like April showers now. It kind of flips the under end of the year, I suppose, just goes like April. Right, yeah, so let's have a moan while I'm here. Just saying about the costs of this year and the financial strain it's been for us and for a lot of people. I think this, if only Keir Starmer really knew what it's like to run a farm with this inheritance tax thing that's coming along. He really doesn't. Let's not just blame Keir, let's blame all his advisors and stuff who've got no concept of what goes on with farming. This is a very hard year for certain farmers, not all of them, because up north and Midlands and stuff, I think Tom Pemberton's had a hell of a crop of grass. Hell of a crop of grass, Tom, haven't you? Hey, hell of a crop of grass. To be fair on Tom, he did message me and said, do I want any bales and stuff, but the trouble is the logistics of up there, down here, it's just not going to work. So some people have been all right, but this year round the south here, I think parts of Wales as well and over the east of the country, been very hard. As I said, the financial burden for us has been a significant investment in just buying silage to stand still. And then going on into the autumn, I've got another kind of cost. In fact, I'm going to have to reseed some of these grass fields. Well, chuck in an inheritance tax mix with that, if you're repaying on what, say, your father did, I don't think it's going to work. I really don't. I think some of these farms, they're going to go to the wall. What it will mean is probably quite a few people have put land on the market to try and pull back the costs, which is kind of like works all right if you're maybe 1,000 acres and you chip off, I don't know, let's just say devil's advocate, you've got 1,000 acres and you have to chip off 100. That's painful, but you're still left with a big lump of viable farm there. The problem is, and he lied about it not affecting family farms, the problem is farms like this, or maybe a little bit bigger, where it's just working as a unit on what you've got, and then you chip off, you know, only 10 acres or something like that off 100 odd acres, and then you're bloody screwed because the farm doesn't work in the way it did before, and then it just messes all your things up. And or you try and struggle on and pay that to stand still, you pull it out of income on a good year, you pull it out of income, but you're robbing yourself and you're robbing the business, you know. I don't know, what a thing to do. It's not like taking it out of someone's house, because that's a different sort of kettle of fish, really. Generally speaking, when you die, you know, your kids are probably going to sell the house anyway and share the money amongst themselves because they've probably got their own place somewhere else already. With a farm business, it's more a case of continuation, and you don't think about selling it. You're looking at the long-term investment. You know, what I bought that field up there, that isn't really for me, that's for Harry and Jack. They can carry on. Harry wants to put some cattle or something out there, maybe add to the whatever. And it gives you a good feeling to add to the business. It really does. You want to go forward a little bit. I sometimes beat myself up over it about what we're not doing. Some people criticise me for not having a flashy parlour and stuff. And then I forget that I've just bought myself a little field that was a lot of money, more money than normal acreage, because it was in the location it was, and it was small, so everyone wants it. So that is progress, isn't it? You know, and it's flipping it. I could have gone out and bought myself a new car with that and taken the missus on a cruise. Instead, she got a lump of dirt in Tidrington. At least he's quite happy with it. Actually, it's a beautiful spot. And I've had some good mushrooms off it this year. Had a fire as well, Mike. Had a fire. Oh, God. Right, anyway, the rain is sort of stopping a little bit. I'm just going to get damp, aren't I? Fancy not bringing a coat. That's what I keep yelling to my kids. Don't forget a coat. I didn't bring one myself. What a plonker. Right, I'll get this done, and we're going to have a look at this bare earth policy that was forced on me by the sun. Right, well, that's that bit done, the fencing. I'm just going to drive over to where the field is that's not particularly good. It's where actually we did drill it with some new grass about 2 or 3 years ago, and that came up really well, and I was really pleased how it went. And then suddenly this year, well, it's on the sort of rocky area, so it didn't have a great chance of doing well, but I mean, it's just flipping died out. Terrible. Worst field on the farm, actually. So we're gonna have a look at that. Ooh, that's something down there. Can we see something? I'm just gonna zoom right down. What's that there? Is that something? Oh no, it's not. It's the reflection on the concrete on the pumping station. There's a sewage pumping station down there, and that's the sunlight reflecting on the concrete. How lovely, how romantic in the morning, and lovely reflection. You said we'll talk about like a reflection off a lovely lake or something. No, that's the cap, concrete cap on top of a tank that stores all the plop from the village. Right, oh, right. Could have opened the gate, but actually, do you know, it's not easy one to open. I'll open this one though. Right, let's go and have a look anyway. Right, so we've been grazing this, bring the cows along here to have a munch on it before I try and do anything, any resurrection on here. It doesn't look too bad from a distance, but when you get out into these bits here, you can really see where we're at here. Look, there's very little grass. Look at it. If I put the camera down, you'll see there's not a lot of grass here. There's a lot of dandelions come up. So what we got really is, if you took away the dandelions, actually, I think there probably wouldn't be a lot of green here. It's worse on this top zone. So this is the rocky bit here. You know my farm, I know my farm. If you've watched this channel regularly over the years, you'll know where the rock seams are. There's one in the maize field along there. There's another one here which is a problem. It's not normally a problem in a normal year, but on a dry year like this, extremely dry, the grass didn't really have a chance because there isn't the depth of soil here for the roots really to get hold of any moisture. But you can see all the way through. This is a big band of it here. It's not good, is it? Look, I mean, I can't wait for that to try and regenerate. This look, that clump of grass, look, completely dead. Look at that. So it's not even alive, is it? So it's not going to come back. That's a dead piece of grass. And this is what I'm faced with. So I've got two fields I'm going to do. This is the real critical one. This has got a really bad covering of grass left from the drought, and this one 100% needs sorting out. I can't leave this till spring. There's no chance in waiting for a cut of grass off this in May and finding that I got a third of the field that's dead and just dandelions. So we're going to put some seed back in here. The other field, I'm tempted either. I'm not sure. I'm either going to get them while they're here to drill it, or I'm just wondering whether I could just shake it out with a fertilizer spreader and top dress it with a seed and chain arrow it, top dress it, roll it. I've never done that before, so I don't know quite whether I'm wasting my time on that or whether I should just do it. Harry says do it, but I'm wondering whether these guys are here, they could drill it and just be safe side it's done, isn't it? A lot of it depends on how push for time I am, because I am a bit never enough time to do all that. This is where you want the kids back from the summer holidays. Do you know what? I had so much stuff done with them. Harry was brilliant. He went out tanking most of the time with the stuff out of the lagoon to try and keep the fields going. But the boys were amazing. Do you know what the best bit about having them on the farm now is? They're really useful. You shouldn't just think about your kids as being really useful, but they are really useful because they got to the size where they can do stuff. But also because they've had that in the sort of knowledge and seen what things are doing right from an early age, because they've been exposed to it through me, they've got a knowledge that a lot of young kids wouldn't have. So even though they're young, they're able to do stuff that you know, they understand how the farm works, particularly Harry, and that makes a big difference because it's quite hard if you not from a farming background and you get into farming. I'm not saying it's impossible, that's not true, but it's a lot harder because you don't have the grinding. But actually, I did an interview with the BBC recently about the Clarkson effect. And I was chatting to them. A lot of it didn't make the interview because that's just the way it goes. The interesting thing is the Clarkson effect, and also maybe let's just say farmers like myself who've done some stuff on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, or YouTube and stuff. We have actually been able to put the knowledge out there and help a lot of kids that maybe wouldn't have it otherwise. Because if you hit the ground running at 18, go to a college and with farming, it's very hard if you haven't had a bit of a background on it. But there is actually opportunity for people to pick up that knowledge now, because you can soak it up just watching your phone, can't you, on the school bus? And I dare say a lot of kids do. Actually, so this is interesting, right? If you could help me out here. Tell me where you're watching this video. If you get to this bit in the video, tell me where you're watching it. Are you watching it at home, on the school bus, at work, your lunch break? I'd be interested to know, and also whereabouts in the country or world you are, because I don't know where you are. Right, let's get back. We'll have a look. I've got to put some silage out later. We'll have a look at that when I stick it out. Try not to put the silage out till after, or they don't have the silage bales till after milking, because what I don't want to do is start feeding them and they become used to feeding it in the mornings, because what happened then, they won't be keen to come along here, and then they'll start hanging around the yard, and then that's only one step to bringing them in for winter, and I don't want to start that chain of events till we really have to. The problem being is that cows don't really like it really hot and sunny, and they also don't like it wet. So the problem is to encourage them to come back along on this grazing. It's not that easy, because when it's chucking down the rain, they just think, well, a bit like all of us really, they think, sod it, I want to be inside. And that is my issue for the winter. Are we going to have to keep them inside? Right, anyway, I'm going to just, we'll get back to the farm and I'll look at the bales when I put those out. Come on, girls. Come on. Come on in. Yeah, mucky it is. At least this is only on the track we've got. It's the rest of the fields actually. Quite surprising actually. The fields are pretty firm. We haven't reached saturation point because the ground was so dry. We haven't reached saturation point, so the fields are okay. They're holding up well considering how much rain we've had. It's just the tracks that have got a bit muddy. I'm gonna have a blackberry a minute. Excuse me for my blackberry minute. Right, these girls are going on to that bit of grass that I was dealing with. I'm heading back. I'm going to put the bales out in a bit. All right. Blackberries. See you in a bit. You boys, are you on that case? You're getting the cows in for milking. I've just got to put these bales out I was talking about earlier. Let's get these out and then they can help me. It's actually another, look at this, blue sky day now. Chucked down with rain earlier. Can you believe it? It is like April showers. Here he is. Are you awake now, Harry? Yeah. Have you had another haircut? How often are you cutting your hair now?
No.
The mullet's gone, is it?
Had one because...
Hang on, don't walk away.
The last haircut I had, got in Wales.
That was only 3 weeks ago.
Yes, but she didn't take enough off.
What do you mean she didn't take off? Let's have a look. Give us a twirl, Anthea.
Eyes.
That is pretty short, isn't it? What is that, a number 1?
Yeah. Well done.
He span off the one that wasn't on the fork properly, and it span off, and now I've got the bail on top of the net. Right, see if I can pull that out. I reckon. That's it. Alright, I've got another bail to get. And it's there. I'm going to get the other bail in a minute, right? A litre of milk in Tesco or wherever you buy it, what you're paying for is things like silage bales, diesel in the tractor, Harry's haircut, my new boiler suit. It's not that new, but the random things that the actual litre of milk you buy is buying for all sorts of things you don't think of. Especially Harry's haircut. How much does a haircut cost?
17.
17 quid. You've got to sell a lot of litres of milk to pay for a haircut. Oh well. That's what money's for, and it's spent. It's no point in buying a rich man. I just spend all my money on haircuts. There's Jack right around the corner there. He is. Can you see him? Hello, buddy. Right. And that's a wrap. I just took this in, and then that'll be it for the video.